So welcome everyone. This is Pila Kapatanakis here from Team Freedom Factory at Monate. And today we're going to do a training on a topic of how to build your dream team. So this is pretty awesome. Without that dream team, you really cannot build a strong, sustainable business. So by a show of hands, how many of you have heard of the term dream team? Like, has anybody even heard about what it is? You can feel free to use the chat, let me know. And so those of you who have heard of it, how many of you have identified who you actually want on your dream team? Like, who has gone through the exercise of figuring out who you would just die to work with? Cool. Melanie's revamping her list. Arlene says, yes, Corinne. Awesome, you guys. All right. So Monate does provide our market partners with a really special opportunity, an opportunity to not only be a part of a tribe or a team, but to also grow and cultivate the dream team of your own. So all of us have kind of different dream teams because we all have different social circles. So I think I can pretty much guess the answers here, but who here has sponsored at least one person since the beginning of your business? I bet everybody's going to answer yes to that because of you guys being such rock stars here, but we may have some brand new people maybe who haven't yet. So those people who you have sponsored, how did you meet them, or how did you get to know them? When they first joined you in the business, can you actually recall any of the feelings that you felt, or maybe some of the thoughts that went through your mind? Like what went through your head when you were bringing those people in? Does anybody want to comment? Anything that, with myself, I can say that, every time I bring somebody in, I'm super excited. I'm like really excited. And I think a lot of times I'm maybe a little bit more excited than they are themselves. Also, sometimes if it's like a real rock star, or you think that they will be, it's normal for us to be kind of nervous almost, right? Because you want to do all the right things. Michelle says that she met her people online. That's so awesome. All right. So yeah, no matter what kind of feelings you've been feeling as you're bringing in your market partners, just know that any and all of them, they are considered normal. Whether it's sometimes it makes you nervous, whether you're just like ecstatic, all those things are normal. So you're doing good. All right, I'm just gonna try to move this chat aside a little bit. There we go. So for those of you who have actually done the foundations course of the Market Partner Academy, if you haven't done it yet, please go there today, go there tomorrow, no later, and work through the foundations course, because that's the basis of everything. That tells you how we roll here at Monate. So, but in the foundations course, for those of you who have done it, you know that you were encouraged to pick your dream team. So if you could surround yourself with a group of friends with whom you'd love to spend some extra time with, who would they be? These are some of the questions that you would ask as you're coming up with your dream team. You could also ask yourself, who do I know that would be fun to collaborate with about business, or simply add to my life in some sort of a way? Who would that person be? Just a moment, you guys. I'm doing my homework. Please go quiet. Sorry, you guys, I have a guest trainer. So assume that money, geography, and circumstances are not an issue, and write down the names of 5 friends who are your go-to for like good news, bad news, whatever, whatever you may be into. Who is the first person that you want to kind of tell everything right away, or the first 5 friends? They're in your inner circle, but they cannot be a market partner currently. So use the little cheat sheet that I asked you to print out, and this is where you would do your exercise. Use the bullet points in the column farthest to the right to help you intentionally think about who you really want on your dream team. And you've got to do this without prejudging anyone. Don't think that, oh, I would love this person on my team, but, or, you know, this person would be great, but, like, don't prejudge anyone. So, and when you're done, you want to look up here on the screen. So as you're writing down your answers right now, so just think about these things. Who would you love to spend more time with? Who would be fun to collaborate with? Whose opinions do you trust and respect? These ones are all the things that will, you know, should help you trigger people in your mind, people who you know, who you would love to work with. And also think about those people who have encouraged you in the past, who have told you that you're amazing and that you can do anything. All those people should go on that list. So, all right. So next to the names on the list, I want you to write down a word or two about the gift or attribute that each of those people would add to your team. So what would they bring to your team? Why would you want to work with them? And so also, when you're all done with this, just think about, what if each person who you just wrote down right now, what if they decided to join you on this journey? Just imagine that. How does that thought even make you feel? Crazy awesome, right? So my goal here is to help you think differently about sponsoring. It doesn't have to be a scary or anxious thing, particularly if you're, you know, brand new to network marketing or this entire sales channel. And it doesn't have to be, you know, it doesn't have to feel awkward or pushy either. And, you know, when you do get this one thing, it will be a total game changer in your sponsoring activity. And think too that, what does that mean for those product back bonuses you can earn both inside and outside of Smart Start? So what's that one thing? Let's talk about it. Oops, there's let me just check the chat here super quick. That's awesome. Melanie, even if they're in another company, you know what? You could still mark them down, because you just never know. It's not the first or the last time that I've seen people switching companies, and you just never know. As long as they're not in Monat, but if you truly feel like, oh my goodness, like about my dream team, I have one person who is like a top earner in a totally different company right now, who is a good friend of mine, and she's on my list because I'm convinced that one day we are going to be working together. So why not? That's what I'm going to say. So always remember, it's not about you. So whether someone will or won't be interested in this type of business, it just seems to be the biggest hang up when it comes to sponsoring. And when you decide for someone else, whether they might or might not, you're making it about yourself. We all have done that. I know I have, and I know all of you have too, but really do think about it and be more aware. So how freeing would it be to get to the place where you can confidently offer a peek at the business to someone, and just as easily you could offer a helping hand to someone who actually needed it. You know, it's kind of like offering a dessert to a friend after a meal, or a gift to someone who you genuinely appreciate. Start seeing your business as a gift. You are the prize. Our business is the prize. And when you remove yourself from the equation and not make it about you, you do set up yourself up for some amazing team building success. So let's move on, and we're gonna look at a few things for you to consider. Can somebody tell me if the group chat little window is covering up some of the letters on the right hand side, or is it just me who sees them? If somebody could say yes if it obstructs your view, just so I know if I have to close it. No? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Corinne. Okay, I just wasn't sure what your guys' view there is. So did you know that it takes an average of 6 exposures or experience for someone to get to a yes? So for some people, it may take more, some it may take less. I think we all have experienced that as well, that, you talk to a person and after the first chat, they may say, okay, where do I sign up? But it is rare. Most people, it takes a lot more. And so when you do have that sponsoring pipeline happening, you'll be able to readily identify where those people are in the process. So, and you'll also be ready when they are ready to get started with their business. So I'll talk more about those exposures in just a moment here. But don't focus so much on what you have to say, but rather give yourself a permission to fumble through the offer or the conversation, because here's the deal. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. And your job is to simply offer rather than ask. So to offer is to give, whereas to ask, it is to request. So would you rather be given to or requested from, right? So these little psychological tweaks can make a huge difference. So the most effective way and the simplest way, for especially for somebody who is absolutely brand new, completely green, is at the Meet Monate events. So why do you guys think that is? Does somebody have any clues, any ideas why it's so easy to sponsor at Meet Monate events? Well, I'm going to help you out a little bit. So, it's a lot easier because people are sort of in the moment. There's the proof of, there's the social proof. There's other people who are interested in the business. There's the social proof because there's people already who are doing the business. And so you're sort of providing them with an experience instead of just, information on a piece of paper or over a phone call. They're actually getting to experience the vibes and the energy and everything. And it's just another layer for them to see the Monate picture that you are painting. So if I would give one piece of advice to anyone who is starting this business, I would say, aside from the Market Partner Academy and everything else, go and find Meet Monate events in the areas where you know people. Because once you get people to actually attend events, it's a game changer. Derek also mentions test out the products. Absolutely, Corinne's excitement. So, but yeah, absolutely. So, did you know the right people are actually fun to work with? That is so true. And part of what you're doing in the offering process is actually checking people out to see if you actually want to work with them. And it's okay to disqualify cranky people as you're going along. It's supposed to be a mutually beneficial fit. And I want you to feel like you're in a position of power to design the kind of a team that you want. So it's okay to disqualify people as you go. It's okay to feel like, oh my goodness, I do not want to work with that person. It's okay to take them off your list. And this is just a part of the process. So at the end of the day, people choose to do business with people who they know, like, and trust. And when somebody knows, likes, and trusts you, sponsoring will feel more like fishing than hunting. So do you guys know the difference between those two? We'll talk about it. Here's the next one. So I like to share this hunter and fishing analogy because it really is relevant to sponsoring in an authentic way. So for hunters, their whole method of operation is to hide while an unsuspecting animal comes near, and you know what happens next. Similarly, some salespeople give off a hunter's mentality. They hide around the corners of your Facebook page. They follow you on Instagram. They like everything that you post. Who can relate? Hello. They give you inauthentic compliments and oftentimes appear desperate. And when they begin to spam you with lots of alluring marketing facts and figures and, sometimes even convince you to buy something you don't even need, those ones are sort of the hunters. And I would say the majority of network marketers, that's what they do. That's how they are taught, which is kind of sad. So fishing, on the other hand, is a different approach. Fishermen, they simply put something tasty looking on a hook and they drop it in the water. There's no hiding. The fish come to you when when you gently offer them something they might find appealing, maybe a worm or, whatever. And not all bait is for every fish either, right? We put that little worm in the water, you probably are not going to get the shark, but you may get a lot of smaller fish coming after it. So some will pass your hook by, but some want and need exactly what you're offering. So at the end of the day, the fish decides what it will bite. And this applies to our business like you guys wouldn't believe. And so the experience that you give people with your approach makes all the difference. So when you approach somebody from an authentic place with them in mind, not you, not your goals, not the bonus, not your paycheck, but you really make it about them, you will never feel like a pushy salesperson at all. Rather, you'll be able to genuinely offer to anybody. And the story you share should be your story, whether it's still unfolding or, whether you've been here for months, for years, maybe, you just joined yesterday. The reason behind why you chose to do this business is going to be the thing that makes people want to know more about you, and that makes them like you, and it makes you known, likable, and trustworthy. So sharing your story is a huge key. So here is our next slide. How do you like those dancing ladies there in mom jeans? That's pretty sweet. Oh my gosh, I need to focus here. So the reason why we want you to initially brainstorm a list of people you know, like, and trust is because these people are the people who are safe. They're the people with whom you can get your mom jeans jam on, just like these hotties here, and they won't judge you. So how can you practice with those who you know, like, and trust? So the answer is actually easier than you think. You actually know these people are the people that you feel safe communicating with. All you need is just a little bit of structure, and I'm gonna actually help you out with that. So some of you are already familiar with this, and some of you may not be, but this really works. I personally love using this, especially those times when, I kind of feel like, okay, how am I going to approach this person? And then I pull out this formula and it sort of gives me the answers right on the fly. So the you plus story plus open-ended question provides you just that. It's a formula that's universal. So you can use it to invite anyone to take a look at the business, or to use it to invite someone to your Meet Monate event. Use it to invite someone to sample the products. So let me break down the formula so you can see how it works. So why do you think we lead with you and not I? Who thinks that? Oh my God, sorry guys, I'm just reading the group chat comments here. I just got called a stalker. I'm proud of that. All right. So, it's because we're inundated every single day by people who are competing for our time. And usually, as crazy as it sounds, but it's true, it's typically for their personal gain. So it's really refreshing when someone shares that they were thinking of me and my best interest, or at very least an acknowledgement of the crazy that is going on in my life at the moment. And not just the sale that they want to make, or the rank advancement, or the next goal, or whatever they want to hit. So leading with you allows people to actively listen to what you're saying, because you're talking about them and it's personal. So, and the second part of the formula of this is the story or the need, which further personalizes the interaction with a thoughtful observation or offer. And then you would end up with an open-ended question. So this sets you up to keep the conversation going. Just think about it. If you ask them a question that they can answer yes or no to, and they say no, where do you go from there? Right? It's like a door slams shut in front of your eyes, and it's really hard to get it open again. The whole idea is to keep the conversation going. So keep the open-ended questions coming. And I'll show you that on the next slides here of what it looks like. There we go. So how do we begin with them in mind? So here's an example of how to personalize your invitation. You do it by using the you part of the formula, and it would sound something like this. You can see it on the screen too. Feel free to take screenshots if you need. But you could say something like this to someone who you want to prospect or invite to take a look at the opportunity. You are someone I've always trusted, and the one person who has always said to follow my heart and take risks. And I wanted to let you know I was listening. Like, who doesn't like to hear that? Somebody telling me that, you know, my advice in the past has been valuable and that they've actually listened. I'm going to be like flipping my hair, and I'll be like, oh, well, thank you. Right? It instantly makes somebody feel great about themselves. And next, we want to further personalize the invitation by sharing the story part of the formula. So that's the second part. And it may sound something like this. I'm jumping into something that is going to stretch me beyond my comfort zone, and I believe it will be good for my family. So that's your story. Nothing too complicated so far, hey? And then the third part, which is the open-ended question. And it can sound something like, what are your thoughts on taking a peek at what I'm doing? I'd really value your opinion. So we're going back to the beginning where in the you part, you said that you really valued their opinions in the past, their advice, and you were listening. And now you're kind of circling back to, I'd really value your opinion. So you see how it all kind of ties together? It's truly, truly the simplest way to invite anybody to take a look at what we've got. So, how did the invitation sound to you? Did it sound pushy to any of you? Did it sound like, oh, did it turn you off? Did it make you want to run? Did you feel like I was trying to sell you something? Anyone? Corinne says no. Michelle says no. Right. I totally agree. So let's look at one more quick example of our invitation formula. So what you see on the screen right now is the entire invitation that I just read off to you. Again, feel free to screenshot if you would like, and you can customize it to your people, whoever you're talking to. Just make sure that, you know, you personalize it. So oftentimes people that we want to approach, we know that they have a financial need of some sort. So I'll tell you another invitation option here for somebody who you know is struggling. They may have told you about it. You may have seen stuff on social media. You usually would know at least some people who are in that boat. So let's talk about it. The you part, you can say, I've been thinking about you. And then the second part, which is the story, you can say, and what you shared with me about the stress of your financial situation has put on your marriage. I don't know if this would be a great fit or not, but I thought I would ask. So this really shows that you kind of, you listened and you were giving some thought about whatever problem she brought forward. And now you're trying to offer a solution. And then the part 3, open-ended question. What are your thoughts on getting together this week to see if Monat could help you guys? So, like, I personally find this such a gentle way of offering to help someone. And it's really hard to say no to something like that. You already bring up the financial need that they've discussed in the past, and you ask if you could help, or, you know, if they're open to taking a look. For them to say no, we don't want to take a look at something that's going to help us. We'd rather keep struggling. Like it's really hard for somebody to say that, right? So that was just an example, and here it is on the screen again so that you can get the full picture. All right, so let's keep going. Sorry, you guys. I do have some notes, but I'm not even looking at them for the most part. So, okay. So now it's actually your turn. So you do have that Dream Team participant worksheet. That's what I would love for you to use. You can take a look at the invitation practice section on that worksheet and select one name from the list and come up with your own personalized invitation using the you plus story plus open-ended question formula. And do it now. I'll give you like a minute, and you could just come up with one. So you leave from this presentation or the training today with something that you've actually accomplished. So go ahead and do that. And when you're done, if somebody feels brave enough to type it into the group chat, I would love, actually, instead of that, I'm actually gonna, if you can just tell me, whoever wants to share theirs, let me know and I'm gonna unmute you so you can speak. It would be just really, really cool to hear somebody's answer or somebody's invitation. All right, how are you guys doing? Does anybody have an invitation they would love to share before I move on? No, I think we have a shy crowd today. All right, well, if I just wanted to ask, could you see this being a valuable tool for yourself to use? I know inviting people to events, inviting people to take a look at our business, it's... Oh, there's Corinne. Oh,
Keely, I'll share. Or, okay, so mine is somebody that's actually with an organization or a company that I'm also with. So so I've watched you and your work ethic with the company you're with right now and the success you've attained. Would you be open to discovering how you can, or something about Monade? I was kind of struggling with the question to get her excited about hearing more about how.
Okay, so she's already with another network marketing company, but you would like to invite her to take a look at what we have.
Right.
Okay. So you love her work ethics. What do you know about her aside from the work ethics? Like,
okay.
What, like, is there something else that,
she's using the products now.
Okay.
As a VIP. So
okay.
I want to entice her into moving into a role as a market partner, because I know she knows network marketing. She's done training for the company that we're with. And I know that our products in that other company don't interfere with what Monade has. So it wouldn't be a conflict of interest. So
Perfect. You know, I would say something along the lines that, hey, let's say her name is Mary. Hey, Mary, you're someone who I've always admired because of your work ethics. It's been always really inspiring to me. And I know that you have loved the Monat products as a VIP customer for quite some time now. What are your thoughts on taking a peek at what I'm doing on the business side of things?
Okay.
You could come from the point of, hey, you know, I admire you because of your work ethics, and also enforcing the fact that, hey, you're already loving the products. So this could, you know, be applicable to anybody. Somebody else earlier was asking about people in different companies. I think it was Melanie. So you could use a similar approach if they're already a product user.
Okay. Okay.
Thank
Great.
you for sharing. That's awesome. And good luck with that one. Let us know how you did. All right. So yeah, as you can see, you can customize invitations using this formula for anybody. It just takes a couple seconds for you to sit down, grab a pen and paper, and just jot it down. It's so worth your time. Don't think it's like a time waster type of an activity. No, for sure. And I don't know if it's Derek or Arlene that's commenting. You do have to be careful if it's someone from another company, but if you yourself don't, like if there's no cross-recruiting involved, there's technically no problem there. So it's Arlene, it says. So let's move on to the next step in the sponsoring process. So oftentimes we find that intentionally asking someone to take a look at the business is the hardest part. So what do you do after you get up the, you know, so what do you do? Sorry guys, I have a hugger that came by here. So what if you get to the point where you ask and they say yes? So let's take a quick look at some of the next steps that are available to you. Please go now. Here we go. So here are some of the next step options that you could use when the person you've invited to take a look at the business side of Monat says, yes, let's take a look. What do you have? So there's a few options. You can invite them to a Meet Monat event that's coming up. Again, if they're local to you, you should know what's going on around you. If they're not local to you, you go to monatglobal.com/events, type in their nearest city, and see what events come up. There's so many events there, you guys. And if you're not using that resource, you're really missing out on an opportunity. If there's no events coming up soon, choose another option. So you can share a few different resources like, Monat has a 7-minute clip that is both informational and kind of moving, there's some emotions attached to it. Using this type of a tool is a great way to tell the Monat story as it relates to a market partner's experience. There is also a video called We Are Monat. That's actually Arlene and myself are in that video. It can be found on vimeo.com. It's vimeo.com. And then you just have to search for We Are Monat. So that's another one to share. And with our team, of course, we have the Discover Monat with Team Freedom Factory group. You can always add them in there with their permission and tag them in the pinned post, or, you know, choose some other videos where we are talking about our experiences as market partners. So that's a hugely powerful resource to share with people. Just a moment, you guys have to close the door. And another resource you could be using is inviting them to a Facebook Live presentation. We have a group called Meet Monat with Team Freedom Factory, and there's, oh my gosh, I have not even counted. There's a lot of videos from all sorts of different market partners on our team sharing their experiences with Monat, with the company, with the products, with the opportunity. So you could utilize those videos as well, see what kind of relates to them, and what would be the best fit for them to watch. Now, you could also have a conversation with your potential dream team member. There is a new easy to follow PowerPoint called Meet Monat. You'll find it in the resource library of the back office. I'm sorry, you guys, I have to close the door. You guys wouldn't believe, my kid was in the living room doing a Meet Monat for her toys who are sitting on the couch. Close the door. Sorry, she's just a little bit loud. The mom life, right? So you could also have a conversation with that dream team member. And as I said, there is a Meet Monat. You can download the PowerPoint from the resource library. And you could have it on your phone. You could have it on your iPad. And there's just a series of slides. And it's amazing. It's so easy to use. And it kind of prompts you, much like the Dare to Succeed that we used to have. It kind of prompts you the talking points of what you should be covering. And so you can simply talk through the points that are outlined. And then you can ask, how many of, and then you could just ask them that, what did they like best? Could you see yourself doing something like this? Or could you see yourself exploring any further? And then another point, you guys, we always talk about third-party validation, right? So be prepared to call in reinforcements, your upline, your sponsor. Because if you get the question that you cannot answer, or maybe they just need a different perspective through a third-party validation. Oftentimes when I'll just bring that example, we tell our kids to eat broccoli because it has a lot of vitamins in it, and the kids, like, they're not going to eat broccoli no matter what you say. And then they go to their friend's house, and then they come back home and say, oh my gosh, the friend's mom gave us broccoli because it has so many vitamins. We should eat more broccoli at home. So the same applies in our business. Sometimes they need to hear that information from just another person who explains it maybe a little bit differently. So three-way calls are a great resource to tap into. So before you have that conversation with your potential dream team member, give your sponsor or upline a heads up so that they can be prepared to hop on a call or Zoom meeting with you. So, and that's the thing too. Don't three-way call your reinforcements until you've discussed the business side of Monat with your friend. Your upline, your sponsor, they're not there to do a three-way call and do everything for you. They're there just to help you seal the deal after you have given them the information. Because three-way calls, otherwise they can feel super salesy, and it's not a great experience to suddenly be thrown into a conversation with a stranger about the business you didn't even know that you were supposed to be interested in, right? So be careful with that. And so lastly, you'll also want to get comfortable with checking in and closing. Oftentimes a first exposure to the business isn't enough for somebody to make a decision right on the spot, but you won't really know if you've given them enough food for thought unless you check in. You could simply say, okay, truth time, am I absolutely crazy? Or is this something you could see yourself doing with me? It's a soft approach to checking their pulse on the whole idea of becoming a Monat business owner. See what they answer, see what they say. If they say that they need more time, you could say, I respect that. It's okay is it okay if I check in with you again in a month or so? And then make a note to invite them to another experience with you in the near future. Make sure that if you promise to check in with them in a month, make sure that you actually do it. following up is so, so crucial. I'm just going to throw this in there. For those of you who have heard presentations from Shannon Rowe, who is our corporate regional manager here in Western Canada, before she joined Monate on the corporate side, somebody sampled her Monate and offered her the business opportunity, and they never followed up. And she was just telling that story at our recent Meet Monate here in Nanaimo, BC. And she said that had she followed up, she would have probably joined. And can you imagine losing a powerhouse like that? So following up is so huge. There's no point of prospecting people if you never follow up. So make sure that you have it all in balance. Now, if you get an answer and they say no, that's okay too. Tell them that your friendship is important to you and that you appreciate their honesty. It's totally cool. Detach yourself from the outcome. And now if they say yes, sign them up. Give them your replicated website address to enroll, or if you're there on the spot, for them while they sit beside you. So we have one more thing to go through, and then we can be all done here. So we've covered quite a bit in the short time here. We discussed and identified people to be on your dream team, developed and practiced using the personal invite formula. As you remember, the you plus story plus open-ended question to invite someone on your list. I also provided you with some action steps to take when somebody agrees to join your dream team. So let's wrap this session up. Make sure that you actually do follow through with the Dream Sheet participant worksheet. It was there for a reason, so that you can start practicing, and make it your habit to craft an invitation for every single person who you prospect, whether it's online, whether it's offline, no matter what. If your daily action goal is to prospect 2 people, before you go ahead and pick up that phone or start messaging them, take 5 minutes and come up with personalized invitations for them. It's going to help you get way further ahead than if you just kind of fumble your way through and see how the conversation goes. So here we are. All right. So thank you so much for hopping on this call today. I will stop the recording, and you can make sure to tag your team members in this video. It's going to be up on YouTube as well as in the Team Freedom Factory.